We have so many founders that are listening in right now. But what's really exciting is we have a brand new founder, and that's a
Amazing!
big deal. That's a
It's
really
a
big
huge
deal.
deal. Yeah, let's talk about that real quick.
Well, first off, by the way, my name is Tom, and
I'm Kim.
We are going to be your tour guides today on this leadership call that we do every single Monday. And if there was one call, one Zoom to plug into, look, there's a lot of different training that you can plug into throughout the week. And if you want to, this is kind of our overall team one every Monday morning at this time. So make sure you tag your people in there if they want to hear the best of the best, the leaders, movers, and shakers like you're going to hear from today.
Yes, so good. So,
you want to just kind of do a real quick introduction first, and then you can just jump right in?
Sure.
Let me just share this really fast, because the thing that Kim and I have taught that built businesses for Kim and I of hundreds of thousands of people, 40,000 people per team over the last many, many years, and we duplicate very quickly, is we figured out in network marketing what is the absolute highest, simplest, shortest, fastest route of steps that duplicate. And after being in this industry for many years, one day I just said, what is the bottom line of the number one thing that my team needs to focus on to succeed? And then one day it hit me that it's just really three major things. Now, of course, there's hundreds of little steps and pieces, but the things that we focused on is how to invite people, how to put them into a message, and then how to follow up and enroll. And I'll challenge any multimillionaire in network marketing. There's really no debate on that. So you can invite people to a sampling system. You can invite people to a Zoom. You can invite people to an ATM. You can invite people to a Facebook. You can invite people to YouTube. You can invite people to an app, but then you need to follow up and enroll. Yeah. And it's because everybody thinks, oh, well, I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to switch systems and I'm going to do it this way. And everybody keeps thinking if one system if you're sending people to an ATM, you're following up and enrolling, and it's not working, of course you can try something different, but make sure that you're, what most people hang on a second, gonna make sure you're all muted. The one thing you don't want to do if you're new to the industry is just, if one thing's not working, oh no, it must be the system. I'm going to go try doing Zooms now. Oh no, Zooms aren't working. I'm going to go back to ATM. Oh no, ATM's not working, so I better learn attraction marketing. Oh no, attraction marketing's not working, so I better learn how to lead with the customer first. Oh no, leading with the customer first, I better go back to business building first. And I see this cycle for 25 years, and being a coach full time, the one thing that works is definitely picking something that you know works, like what you're going to hear today. Finding someone in your upline or someone that is having massive success, and then lock arms with that system or lock arms with that process until it will work for you. Because look, if you send people to an ATM, it's already been proven it'll work. If you send people directly to a Zoom, it's already proven that it'll work. If you do a little bit of both, where you send them to a Zoom and then ATM, or ATM to a Zoom, it'll work. As long as you keep it really simple and don't try to do a million different things and always be changing processes and changing systems. The people that are going founder that we've studied, because we've interviewed every one, a lot of them are becoming friends of ours. Lauren's the newest one that we're like, wait a second, where did she come from, right? It's such a blessing. Kim and I have never been a part of a business where we knew every single person that's doing 5,000 in our team. We knew every single person that's doing 10,000. Now, because Savvi's growing so fast and there's so many amazing people like who you're going to hear from that are succeeding, we're not getting to know people sometimes till they're doing 20 and 30 and 40, which is it's a really crazy challenge to have. But obviously we know who this person is because she's just crushing it. And why don't you go ahead and just share, and then we're going to dive into it today.
Yeah, I want to talk about this amazing woman because truly, like, to go founder in just a little over 4 months.
4 months, 9 days, as she said.
Is crazy. And like you said, we've never even officially really met or talked. So you guys, Savvi is growing so fast. Hitting founder means you reached a milestone, which is senior executive, which means you've done 100,000
volume in a month.
Volume from in the month, and if you maintain that, you're qualified to earn rev share from the company. It's huge. It's a big deal. And that's why there's such a sense of urgency right now to really focus and hone in. There's 20 spots for the founder. You know, we are in an early stage company where everyone has a chance to qualify for that. So run hard. This is the time to have the gas all the way down, to have focus, to have the sense of urgency to qualify for that, just like Lauren's done. So a little bit about Lauren. She's a mom. She's a busy mom, right? She literally had to drop her kids off somewhere so she could focus and do this call. Any moms relate, right? And she got started in March, hit this amazing milestone in 4 months. She has been in the industry for 5 years. And Lauren, I'd love for you to share a little bit about what the experience has been like there and here. But you guys, it's such a blessing and an honor when you have someone that is on a train track that's going fast to learn from them.
Yes.
So all we have to do in this business is copy.
Yep.
So Lauren,
Yeah.
we're so excited to learn from you and learn from you.
Yeah,
Yes.
and give a shout out to your team too, because I know it's your team,
Yes.
but also the people who brought you in. I know you're part of Lisa and Courtney Nine and Amy White, of course, and all that incredible leadership group. And I know your success is your team's success as well. So,
yeah, well, thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm so nervous. Can you guys hear me? You can, right?
You sound great. You look great.
Okay, good. Perfect. Well, yeah. So first I'll just say my people that brought me in here, you know, starting from Lisa, then Amy, then Courtney, then my really good friend, Melissa Quinn, is who brought me this opportunity. And so wasn't looking for it. I know that's everyone's story always, but that's kind of that amazing support system we have. And then just down the line, I have amazing, like my team, the best part of hitting founders is turning around and seeing that someone else in my team is about to hit it today. Someone else is potentially probably going to hit it this month. And I'm like, that is the best feeling. Because I've been in situations where that you turn around and you're by yourself.
Right.
And that's not fun. So this has just been incredible. So I'm just like, we've got 10 more days in the month. I don't even know what the date is, but doesn't matter. We have people that are coming up and people are winning and they're seeing growth and movement. And that is like the most rewarding part of this. Cause you don't want to be alone at the top, right? You want to have your whole team there with you.
Right.
And that's my goal. So
talk about that a little bit. Like what the difference has been building. You've been in a couple other companies, it sounds like.
Yes. I've been with 2 other companies. I was with one for 3.5 years, you know, actively building it. And what I found was that as much as I've always been a really hard worker, I've always been, you know, kind of trying to lead from the front as much as I could. My efforts were never matched in the results coming out. So I felt like I was working just to get like a little nugget of confidence, and it would pop out once in a while and you'd get that motivation to keep going, but it wasn't consistent. And I never experienced momentum ever. I had never, you know, you hear about it. And you hear people talk about how great it is and you think, oh, I'm in it, but I have never been in it until here. And so it's just been if you're doing things, and I know you already said keeping it simple, what we really focus on is just keeping it simple. And so the effort you're putting in, it's coming back to you tenfold. And that's we're really seeing happening. You're seeing the momentum, you're seeing the leverage, you're seeing the duplication. I mean, this is insane. It's scary, but it's amazing, but it's insane because I know that it's sustainable based on the systems we have and the business model we have, which is really exciting.
That is so awesome. Why do you think you're seeing it here where you haven't seen it in the past?
I think it all comes down to, well, there's 2 things, right? Having a simple system to leverage is everything. You all know that, like, we have a million things going on in the day. I've got 3 little kids. I have a man child who's also known as my husband downstairs working. Sorry, Tom. But you know, so there's, oops, sorry about that. Were you there? Sorry, I had a phone call. So, you know, everyone has a lot going on in their life, and no one has 10, 12, 15 hours a day to dedicate to a business like this. The whole point of getting into this is to figure out a system to leverage, right? You plug people in and you should be able to go and just keep going. I never had that before. I was the system. So when I brought somebody new in, I was onboarding for hours. I was holding their hand, and that wasn't a problem. But then if that person turns around and doesn't want to do it anymore, you're like, oh, I just wasted all this time. They're not even going to do anything. They don't want to be here. And so what I found here is just keeping it simple is key. Once we figured out what was working for us, we just made sure we had it really well oiled. Like it just feels like a wash, rinse, repeat over and over and over again. And then the other thing is just the fact that it's a wear and share program. I mean, there's nothing to learn. You don't have to come in and have this learning curve of how is a product going to work? What kind of results is it going to give me in 60 days? How do the ingredients work? What can I say based on FDA regulations? What can't I say? And that is a big big barrier to entry, I think, for a lot of people, because they feel like they have to know everything and then they never get started. And with this, it's as simple as go use your shopping credit, buy some cute stuff, put it on and walk outside, or put it on and take a picture and use social media. So it's a very plug and play experience that anyone, no matter what their experience level looks like, can just snap into. And that's been a game changer. I mean, that's been huge.
That's so awesome. I want to go back because I was at a Social Savvy this weekend in San Diego, and one of the brand new people are like, oh my gosh, is it too late? You know, do you have to be at the very, very, very top? And I'm here to tell everybody that some of the biggest people in the company might come in hundreds of levels deep under Lauren or someone. Lauren, you got, you know, you're not at the, there's no, it doesn't matter. It's a level, everybody. There's no, like, no one was placed in Lauren's business probably, right, Lauren?
No.
Like no one's getting upline, like no one got put in our business. So we, you know, so anyways, it's really good.
Yeah, it's an even playing field. That's why people love this industry. I think that's why so many people come into this, because no matter where you come from, as long as you plug in and listen and are coachable and you do the things someone else tells you to do that has the success already, you have no way to fail unless you just don't do anything. So I think that's the most important part, right? If you're actually doing stuff and you're listening and you are open and kind of following the leader, if it's working for them, everyone has that same opportunity to come in, and it's all just about what you want to put into it and how intentionally you do things. And that's a big thing for me. I don't have a lot of time, guys. I have 3 little kids and they're lunatics. So I don't have a lot of time during the day. You know, once my kids are up at 7:30, I can do some stuff, but nothing that I actually need a lot of brain power for. I have to wake up early every day to get it done. And that's just what I found works for me, but I have to do it. So
this is the perfect topic of where I was just going to head is, Lauren, give us a day in the life. You know, we all, you know, especially moms get how we have little pockets of our day. How are you doing this? How are you keeping things balanced, or are you? Give us a day.
Balance. I don't know if balance is actually a real thing. But you know, from the beginning, I looked at this as I've been around the space a little bit. I saw how simple this was. And I was like, I'm putting my head down and I'm going to really, really go all in, which, I mean, I've done before, but I've never had the same kind of passion to go do it. So I had a very transparent conversation with my husband in the beginning. I said, you're probably going to get mad. I'm probably going to be on my phone more than you would like me to be, but trust me, 6 to 9 months, you won't be questioning me anymore. Now, of course, it's only been like 4.5, and hopefully he's quiet now on this. But I mean, I'm typically waking up early. My kids they're little. They're 7, 5, and 3, so they're not sleeping late. They're not, you know, doing things on their own. They still need me nonstop for everything, and I'm home with them. So they're up at 7:30. So I'm usually up between 5 and 5:30. We've been doing a lot of power hours with our teams at 6 a.m. But I'm up. I'm usually trying to work out or walk or just get things done that I know are going to take a lot of brain power. I'm of this, I like to follow the system, like the 90-50-10 system, where if you need 90% of your brain to get something done, I can't do it with my kids around. So every single thing that I need to do that takes that much percentage of my brain power to get done is happening before they're awake. And then the other stuff, you know, the checking in with my team and the answering questions, I can do that while I'm handing out snacks. I can do that stuff throughout the day, but the really important conversations, the sitting down and, you know, keeping myself organized, that's got to come before they're awake. So I'm up at 5:30 most days. And then, you know, once they're awake, it's just constant kind of, you know, I try to put my phone down. I try to have certain times and I check in throughout the day with my team or with, you know, customers and this and that. But realistically, I'm just answering stuff as I need to. I'm having conversations as I need to. And then after they're in bed is usually when we're hosting, you know, our information sessions and we're having onboarding calls. And that's the time once they're asleep at 8:30 or 8, I usually kind of hand them over to my husband at that point, and I'll sit down and do stuff for another hour or two. I'm an early riser, but I'm also a night owl. I have a hard time going to bed right now when all this great stuff is happening. So I'm like, you know, constantly waiting up as long as I can because I have a big team on the West Coast and they're 3 hours behind. So for me, I want to make sure I'm present for them too at the times they need it.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Go ahead, baby.
Did you have a question?
I got a million, but go ahead.
I know. No, I was going to get specific and say what do you say? Are you working warm market, cold market? Unless you were going to go in. Okay. Yeah. I'd love to know what, you know, are you working cold market, warm market? What are you saying?
It's funny. I'm not really working cold market right now. There was probably a month period where I was going that direction. But then what happened was a lot of my warm market that I had introduced this to had been watching and they started to come back to me. So now it's been much more warm market. I would say I'm not really doing any cold market right now. It's just, I've been in the space for a while, but I also am just kind of a personable person. So we know a lot of people. We're heavily involved in our community. I worked in a traditional career for 15 years, so I have that network too. So I'm having a lot of conversations just with people from my past. I might not know them that well anymore, but I've been with them in the past and worked with them. So mostly warm market, here and there, some cold market stuff. I will say I've had 3 or 4 people come to me because of social media content that I didn't know that were in my network. And they were cold market, but they were kind of, connected, and they've come on board, and I didn't even know them until they came on board. And now they're these amazing up and coming leaders in my team, which is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no question that what we see throughout the industry is warm market's the king, especially if you have a network, you have some influence, you have some relationships. There's no question. If you start going in cold market, you're going to have to spend more time building that cultivation. You're going to have to spend more time building that trust. You're going to spend more time building that relationship. It does work. There are people that are crushing it with that, but there are extra relational steps that you have to make sometimes before people start duplicating and growing at your business. So talk to us about the power hour. What do you do in the power hour? Give some nuggets. Everybody's asking, what's the power hour? Talk about that real quick.
Well, the power hour, we did one probably 3 or 4 weeks ago, just my team. And we just did it because I'm up anyway, and I'm always doing these things. And I'm like, well, this is boring. I'm by myself. I'd like to have someone else awake with me. Is anyone else out there? And there's a few of us that have always done things together, but then we ended up doing our first one at 6 a.m., probably 3 or 4 weeks ago. We had people from the West Coast hop on at 3 a.m. to be a part of it, because I think there's that energy when you're all together doing the stuff. So basically what we do is we come prepared. So what we try to ingrain in everybody here is really being intentional with the time you have and what you're saying to people. So you're not just throwing stuff at the wall hoping it sticks. You're coming prepared to a power hour with 10 or 20 people that you've already pre-qualified. They could be a good fit. Maybe they have experience. Maybe they have that, influence that you spoke about, Tom. So you're coming with these list of names of people, and you're already probably having some relationship with them that you've built. And then we're sitting down and we're saying, okay, well, what do you say to this person? What do you say to these people that's really going to grab their attention? Because we all know, right? There's so many people doing online businesses, and there's so many people reaching out. I mean, I get reach outs every single day, but they all look and feel the same. And I'm just like, delete. I don't even respond to half of them, which I should, but I don't, because I'm like, you're not setting yourself apart. To me, if you have something really special to offer, you want to make sure someone knows that. So we talk a lot about language and just how to be really impactful and catch someone's attention. And then that's like 15 minutes. And then we basically sit there, we all turn off our cameras or mute ourselves so we can do voice memos or messaging. And we do that for 30, 45 minutes. And then we wrap up at the end. Here's what we would do to follow up. Any questions anybody has. The nice thing is there's so many people on these now, and it's not just me hosting them. The entire team, Courtney, Christy Hardy have all come on to start hosting them. As people have questions, they just unmute and ask, and we're all kind of able to share our best practices, which I think is so powerful, because you don't want to hear from the same person all the time. You want to hear what's working from everybody. So it's just a nice casual, we're all usually rolling out of bed, bedhead, hopefully drinking some coffee. And it's just a nice hour-long kind of get stuff done so that you can go out with the rest of your day and feel really good that you've actually knocked it off your list already.
Boom.
So good.
Boom.
Powerful. Okay, so we are having questions now. What is your language? What do you say?
It really depends. It's funny. So when I was looking at this, it took me 2 days to decide I was going to do it. Melissa Quinn dropped it in my lap and kind of, gave a little bit of info, had a conversation with Courtney. But then I sort of sat on it and I thought, okay, I'm going to get some proof of concept here. I'm going to text 3 of my girlfriends. They've never been in this industry, but they love cute workout clothes. They're into fitness. They're friends. They're fun. And so I just texted them all, individual messages. I said, hey, I know you like cute workout clothes, right? And they were like, yes. And I said, so this brand new company just got dropped in my lap. It's basically a wear and share program, and they're looking for ambassadors. You should take a look at it. And they were all like, yes. So that's what I say to friends. Cause to me, this is a very casual kind of organic way they can become involved with a brand without feeling the pressure of you have to go build or you have to sell a certain amount, because that's not really what it's all about. And so that's language I would use for my friends, and I still use it all the time, or anyone I even kind of know generally. Otherwise, I'm all about just kind of edifying the person quickly. Tom and Kim, you've been in this space for a long time. You've obviously got the skill set necessary. I'll say to somebody, I have something I think you need to take a look at. I don't tell them what it is. I don't, give them a long paragraph. It's very short and sweet. Sometimes I'll say, hey, you're a bad A in this industry, or, you're a rock star. I like to try to give a little bit more emotion. And if it comes off as a little bit direct, I want it to, because I think that's the kind of message I would respond to. So every time I'm saying anything to anybody, I always think, would I respond to this if somebody sent it to me? And if the answer is no, I'm not sending it.
Yeah.
So very direct, very to the point. And just asking if they're open, basically.
So good. So good, Lauren. I know what's going to happen now. Everybody's going to be like, oh my gosh, I'd never heard someone say it that way like Lauren. And then everybody's going to start writing it out and perfecting what Lauren said because Lauren's the up and coming rock star right now. But then what I find is everybody's going to be like, some people aren't going to have the same success saying it the same way that they think that you said it.
Mm-hmm.
Why do some people on your team and all teams not succeed when they get the exact verbiage? What do you think's the differentiator of you, the way that you say it and some of your team members? Because not all your team's succeeding. It just doesn't work that way. So what are the people that are succeeding saying differently, or how are they doing it? What's the nugget or the root there?
I think the big thing is you have to be yourself. I mean, I'm a very direct person. I don't really have a filter as much as I should. And anyone that knows me knows that. So if I send this really perfectly scripted message, they're right away going to know doesn't feel like me. So I'm trying to make it sound as much like me, but I also want my messages to sound casual. If it feels like you've taken a half an hour to try to figure out the perfect thing to say, it doesn't matter. Like, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. So I think it's all about having that confidence, having that posture. And no, I mean, not everyone on my team is saying the same things, but I think what we really try to teach people to do is you have to have a voice. And I might be funny and you might not be funny, so don't be funny. Just be normal. Be as normal as you can and just use language that feels okay to you. Like if you were talking to your mom or to your sister or to your friend, what would you say if there was no pressure on you, if you weren't so connected to what that outcome or what that response would be? So it's just, I think we really focus on trying to stand out because again, if you're cold market, you're using cold market and you're reaching out to leaders in the industry, they're probably getting messages from a lot of people and other companies. So how are you going to make yourself stand out? And you have to think that through every single time.
Amber Reed nailed it. And I know because we can all feel it from you, by the way. Everybody here, listen, there's 240 some people listening, hundreds online over time. And it's confidence is what we all hear in you, Lauren. We hear the boldness, we hear the faith and all that, right? So, and it's not what you say, like Lauren said, it's how you say it, everybody. Mm-hmm. So if you're coming across with belief and confidence, like, hey, Jen Perga, hey, do you wear yoga pants? Right? One of my greatest mentors ever is we sell shit and we teach people how to sell shit. Do you want to get started at the top of my pyramid? He used to say that as a joke and get everybody to say, sure, I'll be at the top of your pyramid. What is it about? Anyways, it's so good.
Yeah, it's so true. It's so true. I mean, and that's, I think the one thing that has made a difference here for me than prior years in other companies, I didn't really have that level of confidence. And it wasn't because I didn't trust the brand or the system. It was that for myself, I was trying to do too much of what other people were doing and the way they were doing it. And I wasn't doing it in my own way. And I think it came across to people as just, like inauthentic. It didn't feel normal coming from me. So I've really tried to just be as, direct as possible. But again, I love that. Do you wear workout clothes? Yeah, that's what it is. Or do you wear yoga pants? That's all you have to say. You don't need to give them a 40-minute rendition of the compensation plan. There's a document for that. There's a video for that. Like I'm not out there I'm just out there to see if you're open. Ooh. And that's it.
All right. I gotta go. I know she's getting ready, but I gotta say one more quickie here. So someone says to you, Lauren, you know what? This looks really good. Can you send me some products so I can just try it before I get involved? What do you do?
I tell them no. Well, okay, here's the thing. If you're local to me, I will say, come stop by and I will let you touch, feel, whatever, if you're in my town or you're close. Otherwise, I'm telling them we have a 30-day return policy. If they get stuff and they hate it, they can return it. And then I'm like, you're not going to hate it. You're going to love it and you're going to become obsessed with it. But it's nice to have that in your back pocket. I don't think I didn't need to touch anything to believe. I was like, this sounds simple. This sounds amazing. I'm in. I just knew the stuff would be good. And if it wasn't good, I would figure it out. But obviously, it's good stuff. We all know that.
Yeah. That's so good. I'm glad you said that. I didn't know the answer, by the way, because I hear a lot of people are like shipping things all over the country. I'm like, you can do that, but you don't have to.
No.
Yeah, what's the point? I mean, I'm like, just get started. Get your stuff, pick your own stuff. And if you hate it, send it back. You're not going to hate it, though. But I'm not going to ship stuff all over because, again, that's not simple. That's complicating the process over and over again. I don't want to be shipping things all over the country if I don't have to. Good. Now, is there kind of small caveats to that? If it's someone that's,
for sure,
a few states away, maybe, but that's not my normal practice. Pretty much it's get your stuff and you're going to love it and you don't have to worry about it.
Love it. Again, confidence. People can feel that you're going somewhere. That's what gets people to move is they want to be a part of something and you're clearly coming across, hey, I'm going, whether you come with me or not. This is why you come with me. So it's very the confidence is just oozing out of you. Someone's asking, do you do voice or text when you reach out to people?
And this kind of goes back to what you said, Tom. What are other people doing that's working for them? I've done a combination of both. I was just sending voice in the beginning, and then I realized a lot of people weren't listening to them. And then I heard feedback from people on my team that when they get straight up voice memos, they don't listen. And I was like, maybe some people think that's weird. So now I lead with text, like lead with written out text. And then as soon as the person engages or responds, then I'll go to voice memo, because then I feel like it's easier that way. That's been working. I'm kind of like a hybrid in that, though. I know some people that do straight voice and they get great response rates. I just was finding that I wasn't all the time. But again, that could just be a function of my network and how people are comfortable and how they're not.
So good. All right, let's talk about elephant in the room a little bit. I got it.
That.
Yeah, do that one next. So the elephant in the room, how are you navigating through the expectations? Because the best time in the world to be in a company is pre-launch. The worst time to be in a company is pre-launch. Right? It's the double whammy, right? But I don't know of any other time I'd rather be than the pre-launch right now. How do you navigate? Well, the inventory, Lauren, that's why I'm not succeeding. It's the inventory. I'm like, are you kidding me? We're doing millions of dollars a month in volume. It's enough right now. It's not perfect. How are you navigating through all those things?
I think there's a few different things. So every conversation I have, and I think we touch on this on pretty much every Zoom we do, is that we're very transparent about inventory. People will be like, well, there's not a lot in there. And I'm like, well, number one, we're in pre-launch, but number two, are you aware that there's a global pandemic going on? Have you tried to order from Old Navy in the past 3 months? Because it's going to take you a month to get whatever you order. It's not just affecting us. So I like to kind of frame it up as, yeah, we're in pre-launch, but when I came on board, this wasn't an issue. But 5 days later, when quarantine happened for the majority of the country, manufacturers were shut down. What are you going to do? It's out of our control. So I think it all comes down to, you're focusing on what you can control and what you can't. I'm not going to sit back and be like, oh, there's no inventory, I can't do anything, I'm going to wait till it's perfect. No way. I was like, this is just more fire under me to get moving. Because if I can do this during a time when there's a lot of stuff going on, we don't have perfect inventory, what can I do when it is all perfect? How is that going to look? That's going to be amazing. So I kind of like working through the difficulties. But that's what I let people know. COVID is affecting us. We're getting restocks. We're getting new stuff in every Friday. And we really focus on the fact that we have the releases every Friday. We have stuff coming in. No, it's not perfect. In a perfect world, could it be? Maybe. But you know what? It's pre-launch. And the fact that you're here now is more important than the fact that you can't get every single thing you want when you want it. It'll get fixed. Just worry about what you can control and move forward. And that's what we really try. We have a lot of people that ask questions all the time. Well, inventory went really fast. I didn't get what I wanted last Friday. And I'm like, I didn't get what I wanted either. Not stopping me. I'm over it. I got over it 3 seconds later. I'll get it on Savvi Swap, or I'll get it down the line. It's not a big deal. I don't need to have every single new thing in my mailbox just to make my business grow.
Yep. And there's always something cuter that launches the next week, right?
I know, right? That's why I'm poor.
Yeah. Okay. My questions are loading up, but okay. Can you touch on follow up when you reach out, all of a sudden you get ghosted, they don't show up to wherever. How do you handle that?
I will say that I'm kind of moving so fast that I'm not sitting there waiting for one person to just respond. I mean, if I'm doing 20 reach outs in the morning, I'm not sitting there waiting for them to respond. Like, ooh, they read it, but they didn't write back. Oh, they must not like me. I am so far beyond those 20 messages half an hour later that I'm constantly kind of just moving. But as far as follow-up goes, if they ghost me for a Zoom, for one of our info sessions, I might say, hey, I got on, I didn't see you on there. Did you want to check out another one? Is this still on your radar? I mean, I will say that a lot to people. Is this still on your radar? If it's not, no worries, no big deal. I just want to make sure I'm not dropping the ball here. Otherwise, I mean, I'm basically asking people straight up, do you want to come on board and launch this brand with me? And if you don't, that's okay. But I'm not going to, I don't follow up 10 and 12 times within 2 weeks. I'm just kind of constantly moving because there's so many people that do want to come right on and that have the questions and that do show up for the info sessions and that want to be a part of it, that I'm not going to spend my time chasing down one person who, in my head could be a good fit, but maybe it's just not the right time for them. So I'm pretty direct. Is it on your radar or is it still on your radar? I will ask people sometimes if they've been on a Zoom and they hear the info, what other questions do you have? I'll tell them I'm an open book. Fire anything at me, drop it here. I will get back to you with any answers as soon as I can. That's pretty much it. I always say this to my team and you guys might laugh, but it's kind of like playing hard to get when you're dating, right? If you are giving somebody so much information, you're following up today and I'm following up tomorrow and it's, did you watch that? Did you do this? Are you interested? they're no longer going to be interested because you feel desperate a little bit. But if you're just moving on and they're like, whoa, she's so busy, she's got something going on, she doesn't even have time to respond, or she doesn't even check back in, it makes them more curious because they know you're up to something really good. So I like to just kind of stand off a little bit once I do a follow-up or two. If they're not answering, I'm like, fine, watch me. Watch what I'm about to do. And then you're going to be jealous you didn't come on 3 weeks ago or 3 months ago. So that's, I don't know.
So good. I love this
I love
women.
it.
I love
It's
you.
so
I love
good.
this women. Yes.
So to reach, everybody asks, like, so reach a founder, you have to do $100,000 of volume in a month on your team. And you can have 40,000 or 40% from each one leg, okay? Now, so that takes commissionable volume. So it obviously takes a lot of customers. It takes a lot of initial enrollment packs. What are the average, would you say, that you've been replicating for enrollment packs? $4.99s or $9.99s or a combination of both?
Combination of both, definitely. Having those shopping credits has been tremendous. I think people really like to have their control to kind of pick their own stuff. So it's between those two. We don't see a lot of the $249. Again, people like to have that kind of ability to pick what they want, but it's a combination of the two.
Good.
Definitely.
Okay. So we hear this all the time. How do I find a leader though? You're obviously duplicating hopping leaders. You've got people really close to hitting founders yourself. So that is amazing. So how do you answer this? Like, how do you find a leader? Do you find
a go-getter? How do you find a go-getter?
Yeah. You know, I've been very lucky to meet a lot of people, you know, over my past experiences, whether in this industry or before, that I'm always a person, I don't like to burn bridges. So I've kept a lot of relationships alive. And if it's somebody that I generally like being around, or I feel like I can learn a lot from, I tend to keep in touch with those people more. So, you know, people that are here, Amber Reed being one, you know, I worked with her at a previous company and we had similar work ethics as far as how we did things. We were hustlers. I knew what she was all about. And I was like, man, I'm going to call her, because she was immediately on my list. And I wanted to bring in people that were going to run with me, because I've run by myself and it's not fun. But in general, what I do is I think about people who, I don't want to say have influence, but I do generally look to people that either have some sort of social media presence, or they have a great, really outgoing personality, or they do have some sort of influence. To me, it doesn't matter if you have experience in this industry specifically, but if you have experience with people, you can do really big things. So if you're comfortable already, you know, having conversations, if you're comfortable and you're confident, like people that are confident, that's not something you can just switch on and off, right? It's something you have to learn as a person. So I'm typically looking for people that have skill sets already, because I don't necessarily, this might come off in the bad way, but I don't have necessarily the time to teach somebody how to have confidence. I'm trying to teach the humans how to have, I don't necessarily have the time to do that for every single person that comes on. So I'm really looking for people that have influence, that are outgoing, that are willing to kind of, you know, shake it up a little bit sometimes. They're not just hiding behind the scenes on Facebook stalking people. They're out there putting out really valuable content that's engaging people and drawing people to them. That's what I'm always looking for.
Yeah.
So good.
And I know you guys are rocking Zooms, which, by the way, Kim and I, we did Zooms most of our entire career. We called them webinars, and then they used to be conference calls. So it's the same exact process. And I know Holton Buggs, who made $1 million a month that's what he did. He did them every hour on the hour. And Kim and I reached a point where we're like, okay, we need to find another method. And it wasn't, I think Zooms and doing that, if you have a leader that can do them, is one of the best methods. We love obviously doing ATM as well because of the leverage. But one of the things that Kim and I are at a place right now is we want to implement what's really working. So we're going to start adding a lot more Zooms based on the success of a lot of what you guys are doing. And we were going to start implementing the Zooms. What are some of the quick steps that you're doing in those Zooms? Can you kind of lay out that format, just real quick, bottom line of what you do?
Yeah. So just to let everybody know, our Zooms, we call them info sessions. I hardly ever say Zoom unless it's on my message there with my team. Right. They're called info sessions because in my head, info session sounds way more casual than Zoom. Zoom, people I think get nervous or scared. I don't know. That's just my perception. We keep them really short though. Since the beginning, they've been usually under 25 minutes. So we're not going into a backstory on myself or anyone who's doing the speaking. It's very much, we like to lay it out. This is what you're going to hear. You're going to hear about the company, who we are, what we do. You're going to hear about our designer. You're going to hear all about, you know, where we are now, where we're headed, right? We're in pre-launch, heading towards launching whenever. And then we really kind of talk through, what does it look like to be an ambassador? How does it work? How do you get started? What does compensation look like? But on a very high level, we're not deep diving into the comp plan. We have a video for that. Like, we don't want to be the goal of the Zoom is to get 80% of the information to the people so that the person who's prospecting that person can fill in the gaps, right? That's your role. Fill in the gaps, answer their questions, take care of any concerns and get them enrolled. So it's very much the same thing every single time. We have notes, we all follow them. It's very much the same format. So whether you get on mine or someone else's from last night or tomorrow night, they're all generally under a half an hour, including all the questions at the end. So they're concise and they're just, here's how it works. And that's it.
Cool. So you do questions at the end too?
We do. Yeah. We tell people, basically we tell everybody, please stay muted. It's always like the most appreciative thing I can ask is someone just stays muted the whole time, but we'll say, use the chat thread, type any questions. We'll read through those. And then at the end too, like open it up, take off your, turn on your microphone, ask any questions you have. And again, we all typically say, we are open books. This is your time to ask questions. The cool thing about the Zooms, I think, having them live, people feel that energy. And it's kind of like that herd mentality of, well, that person's asking questions and that person's asking questions. It makes everybody feel more comfortable to then ask the questions they have too, which I think then is just much more impactful. So
do you have leaders in your team that are not network marketers, like just friends that are exploding too and having success going executive and stuff like that?
Yeah, we have some people who are getting very close to senior leader, and who have kind of big dreams. And that's what I'd like to see. I mean, like I said, I have some normal friends. I call them people that aren't in the industry or haven't had experience, just mom friends, just mom friends that I've known for a long time who, again, they're open and coachable. So I've said, this is how I've done it. This is what you should do. And they ask a ton of questions. But yeah, I mean, you see people that don't have experience winning. And it's, again, that proof of concept that anyone can come in here and plug into the system and get it done.
Yeah. This has come up 3 times now. So I'm going to put what's in the chat, but everybody, because of COVID, people are saying the price is too high or it's too expensive, the 500 or the 999. What do you say to that? Is it the market they're in or the mindset they're in? What do you think?
I think it's mindset. I mean, everyone has I'll give you guys an example. Before this, I was not like a person who bought Lululemon. I don't own anything Lululemon. I never have. I was an Old Navy activewear person because I'm cheap in general and because I've got 3 kids and they're expensive. So yeah, I was buying, $15 leggings. But what I realized was I was buying them over and over and over again because they were falling apart. So for that, it's a frame of mind. Maybe I wasn't spending the money, but other people I know are spending hundreds of dollars on a weekly, monthly basis on other brands that are out there that are much more expensive than where our price point is now without even batting an eye. So it all comes down to, you have to forget about what your habits are and look at who's around you and how are they spending and what are they into. And if it's going to last a long time, if it's sustainable clothing that's going to wash and wear well, of course I'm going to invest more money into it than going to Old Navy 5 times a month and buying stuff. So I think, and investment wise, looking at starting something, and we always like to say, our goal is to support you here and get your money back as soon as possible so that you're moving forward and feeling really good. But we also encourage people, while you're considering this, invite a few people to hop on one of our Zooms and listen, because then maybe you come on board with 3 of your friends and you've already earned some of that investment back from day one. So it's kind of giving people like, there's a system, here's the blueprint, we're going to plug you in. Don't worry, we're going to have your back. It's very simple. This is what I've done and this is what you're going to do too. So I think sometimes just kind of walking people through a step-by-step gives them that confidence that they're going to have someone to help them, even if they don't really know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, I can't see you possibly even being nervous. You're like, I love your clarity.
Totally.
I hope you all are just, the number one thing that I'm getting from her is just don't overthink it. Just go. Just don't overthink it. Move, shake. So many of you, I'm just going to see, even in the chat, I love you guys so much, but I get in my own way with my head sometimes. It's actually good for me to see you, to be honest, Lauren. It's good for me. After 25 years, I get in my own head. I get overthinking. So I hope you guys are seeing the number one thing that I'm getting out of this is just get your butt moving and stop overthinking it. So the question came in, another one of those questions that came in was, well, I've never made money in the industry before. How am I going to go after leaders in other companies or leaders out there in the community if I don't feel like I've had the success in other companies before?
Yeah.
I don't think you need to have the success in other companies. I think you just need to show them what you have. There's so many other brands out there, and a lot of the pain points people have there is that it's not a simple system. It's not just a wear and share. You do have to have that learning curve. And for the normal person going into a company, that's scary. We don't have that. We don't have to learn all those things. This is not necessarily going to make you sit down and listen to training videos. We have these amazing trainings for mindset and for, strategic thinking. But as far as education on a product, take that entire piece out of it. So a lot of people that have been in the industry that are leaders, their pain point and their struggles comes from the fact that it's complicated. They don't have a quick, simple system to plug people into, and we do. So I think just showing them what we have versus maybe what they, not saying what they don't have, but showing them what we have makes people realize, well, wow, network marketing has shifted a little bit. It's changed a lot in the past 5 years. It's changing more so. You see more companies going to this really kind of customer-centric, tech-forward platform versus let's do three-way calls all day long. Like, that's just not an effective use of your time. So I think just showing people and saying, like, I have something, something we all say on my team a lot is this looks a lot like affiliate marketing. It looks like affiliate marketing, but it has an MLM overlay to it. And for some reason, a lot of leaders and other brands, that really resonates with them because affiliate marketing is it's a plug and play. You just get a link and you're sharing it. And that's what we have. You want to build it, great. If you don't want to, you don't have to. But showing that simplicity and showing the system is like the most important thing you can do. And most leaders don't have that. I never had it before.
So good.
So good.
And we definitely have it here. And a lot of leaders are having success. I know Christy Belliston and so many different leaders are just crushing it. So,
yeah.
Okay. So how do you motivate, lead your movement? What kind of intention or mindset? I know there's a lot of logistics, like you do the morning, the power hour. I know you're doing some Zooms. I know you're doing a launch, you're launching with your team. How do you set that kind of posture and expectation and leadership for your team that's duplicating? Like, can you kind of take us into your mind of how you duplicate?
I mean, I don't want to say lucky, but I've been very intentional with who I've spoken to and what I've put out as far as content goes. So the people that are coming to me are very much running with me. So, I mean, my team, my directs are rock stars. People they're bringing on are rock stars. So we have a lot of people who are looking for something different than what they were doing, and they're hustlers and they're hard workers and they're showing up at 6 a.m. or 4 a.m. or 3 a.m. depending on where they are. But I think for us, the biggest thing in the beginning was when we were doing our info sessions, we weren't recording them. We were like, show up live or don't show up. Because we want you on there live. It's much more impactful. And if you take the time to show up and you make it a priority, it proves that it's important to you. If you're going to watch a recording, it's probably not a priority and you're probably not going to come in and treat it like one. So, I mean, I just try to lead from the front. I mean, I have people on my downline that have gotten to rank advancements before I have because of the way qualifying volume works. But that makes me so happy because I'm like, this is amazing. I have people beating me there. That's awesome. We've just all become, we're really supportive. Doesn't matter if you're on my direct team or sideline teams. At this point, we have a whole bunch of people who have stepped up to volunteer, to do these Zooms we're doing, to do the power hour. So it's a collaborative effort. It's not just me. It's not just Courtney or Melissa or Amber. It's all of us. And we're constantly kind of looking at, okay, who's coming up? Okay, you want to do that? Awesome. You're brand new. You're a weekend. You want to do Zooms? Fantastic. Take it away. Like, I want to empower all those people to get moving and have the confidence so that they can then turn around and do the same thing. Because at some point, I mean, at one point in this, I was doing like 12, 15 Zooms a week, like back in like April. And that was not easy you can't duplicate yourself doing 12, 15 Zooms a week, but it was what we needed at the time. But now I'm doing 1 or 2 and I enjoy them and it's fun for me. But we have other people who have, kind of come up and said, I want to do this too. I want to plug in. I want to learn how to do these so that I can turn around and help my team.
Hang on, so a noisy bird. Keep it on mute, please. Elizabeth. Okay, there we go. All right. So there was a time where Kim and I didn't have a big network. We didn't sow seeds into human beings. We didn't keep in touch with people. We were making babies and we put ourselves in a little bubble here in Southern California. And we realized how much that hurt us when we actually got back in network marketing. So what do you say to all the people out there? And there's probably a good handful of people that maybe don't have the relationships. Maybe they didn't sow into people on social media and friends and family out and about, and they didn't get out much. Mm-hmm. What do you say to the people how do you start developing that network and that influence and start to reach out to people, develop that?
I like meeting people and I don't really have the ulterior motive of I'm going to meet you to then prospect you and put you into my business. I just like talking to people. So if I'm at a playground with my kids, I'm typically meeting like 3 or 4 new moms every single time I go. Do I think they're going to come into this business? No, that's not my goal. But my goal, I just like people. I like connecting with people who have similar either, lifestyles or similar ambitions, or I love meeting new people that I can learn from. Like, I like learning new things. I have a friend in town and she's on my team here, but she's all about manifestation and this whole world that I didn't even know existed. And she's taught me so much. And I feel like it's totally changed my mindset and it's helping me develop my own, abilities and skills and all that. So I'm just constantly kind of looking for new people. So I would say just go out and meet people, just be willing to, if you want to connect with people on social media, you can send a friend request, but you should also then connect with them and say, hey, it's so great to connect with you. Congrats on your recent success. Congrats on your new baby. Just make it a human interaction that's normal. Don't be afraid to connect with people. I mean, that's what you have to do. It's network marketing. You have to talk to people on some level. It doesn't have to feel icky or slimy or cheesy, but you do have to create some sort of just a quick connection. I mean, that's what I do. If I'm friending somebody new on social media, it's, hey, great to connect with you. I love your content. And congrats on whatever recently happened or something like that, just to put my name in there so I'm visible. I might never talk to them again for the next 2 months, but I want them to see me and know that I'm not just some bot behind a computer screen, friending people, that I'm a normal person who's been like, hey, I think your stuff's pretty cool. Your new house looks awesome. Congrats. Whatever. I don't know. I'm just trying to be normal. So I would say you have to just be willing to meet new people. You don't have to go out looking, but don't be shut off when someone comes to you and says, hey, where'd you get those leggings? Or, hey, where'd you get your shoes? I mean, I'm always just looking to meet people. I don't know.
No, you do. That's the perfect answer. It's really good.
Totally. Okay. So we're going to wrap up real soon, but we have a guy that's asked the question twice. We love him, Mr. Robert Ratnati.
Kicking butt in Southern California at a power team. Robert, you want to unmute real quick and ask the question on video?
Sure. But I was really wondering, you said you've been in 4.5 months. What was your progression of number of team members per month?
It's crazy. So March 8th through the end of March, I think we got to like 20 or 22. I mean, and that was a lot for me. I had never had a team of more than 100 before. So I think it was like 20 or 25 that first month. And then it jumped. I think we hit 100 the second month, like maybe a little over 100. And I remember thinking, holy crap, this is insane. And then from there, I mean, it just snowballs, and the more people, the more people. So everyone's having conversations and doing stuff. I think it went from, we were at 450 about 2.5, 3 weeks ago. And now we're at almost 1,000. I think we're 998 right now.
That's amazing.
So it's crazy duplication. But again, like the more people, the more kind of impact and leverage you have. So once it got to like 200, it really started to grow quickly, like really quickly. And we were kind of like, is this real? And then you see in your back office, I was like, whoa, we have 100 new people in a month. And then this month it's like 386. And I'm like, is this real life right now? But it's just all those people going out and talking to their friends, talking to people they know.
And then someone else asked, how many were directly from you, your personal enrollment?
I think I've enrolled 36 or 37.
Yep, that's awesome.
Awesome.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
Do one more question. Anybody want to do a real quick live question for Lauren since you're here? If you're on the Zoom, we can't unmute and go ahead and say your name and ask your question, please. Quickly.
If not, we have one.
So you're not.
3, 2, 1.
All right, good.
Okay.
No, go ahead.
Okay, so who are you learning from? You have a favorite mentor, favorite book, or books?
It's a great question. I have not been doing as much reading as I should be, just because kind of quarantine and kids and summer and all that. I love Mel Robbins. I need that kind of like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 push to do anything. So that's probably one of the books I've read that's really impacted me on a kind of big scale. I listen to a lot. I read a lot. I read better than I listen. So I read a lot of blogs. I personally like being challenged creatively. So I'm not always looking for the specific personal development books, but I love learning new things. So it could be, just something outside of the box of what I'm used to being in. I feel like that gets me moving in the right direction. So I love Mel Robbins. There's some other people I used to listen to Rachel Hollis, but I kind of got burnt out on her. But I really like fact-based stuff. I love Robert Kiyosaki, financial education. I love that stuff because it's like the meat and the potatoes versus like the lovey-dovey stuff. I'm not really like that big emotional person. So I like sort of fact-based learning that's very methodical and very strategic. So anything like that is really what I gravitate towards. But like Miracle Morning, all that stuff, I have all those books downstairs.
So
love
good.
it.
All right, final. Oh, go ahead, baby.
Go ahead.
No, you first. I'll do final thoughts.
Okay.
Any final thoughts?
Yeah. Okay. If you want to share, what's next? Where you're headed? How fast? Like, what's your goal?
Yeah,
that you're looking to accomplish.
And kind of tie in your last thoughts as well into that too. Like, what are your last? That everybody needs to hear. Like that one thing that's on your heart right now.
Well, you mean my goals as far as this business?
Yeah, where do you want to go? Serious.
So
Possible
we're
for you.
working towards director this month, actually. Like
Oh.
we are looking to wrap it out at the end of this month. So
200
that's
that's
what,
250,000 in volume, which comes with if you do that 2 months in a row, like you're going to hit $10,000 bonus next month when you hit that twice, and then
Yep.
$25,000 bonus for hitting 250K. Good job.
So that means you would have more than doubled where you ended up last month
Bang.
in 1 month.
yeah. We ended last month at like 94,000. That was qualifying volume. I think it was like 140 total. We're at like 180 right now.
Amazing.
160 qualifying.
Awesome.
Yeah. So director is in my sights. I had a conversation with Jen Ashby and she was like, you're running for director. And I was like, okay, whatever you say, we'll do it. And
Yep.
worst case, for me, it's not so much about pushing people to get there. It's more like, let's see how far we can get so that next month, if we don't get it there, it'll be a tiptoe in, right? Like I just want to focus on the methodology behind it all and not so much the outcome. So everyone just kind of head down focused, same positive, all that stuff. And that's the most important thing. It's pre-launch. It's not all perfect, but you can be a cup is half full or you can be a cup is half empty. And if you're focused on solutions and just moving forward, you're going to see, that whole saying of what you put out comes back to you. If you're negative, no matter how good your reach out language is, people feel it. You feel it. And I was never really a believer in that, but I will tell you, I have been probably the happiest, most positive person I've ever been over the course of the past 4 months because I was so excited about this. And I think that just projects. So if you want to build big with this, if you want to go and do all these amazing things people are doing, you have to stay positive and you have to make sure that you're turning around and making sure that's dripping down within your team. Because if there's any negativity, that spreads quickly, right? If there's doubts, and again, we share very transparently, just like corporate does with us. Yeah, there's inventory issues. Yeah, we're working on it. What more can we do? We have Jen and Rachel driving around Southern California. Like they're out there. They're not sitting back playing games on their phone. Like they're out there busting their butts to try to get us what we need. So just keep moving,
Boom. Well, that was a good last thing. We all need one more quickie since we have you, and I know you're busy. I don't know when we'll get you again, but one more, like, what does everybody need to understand about how to really, one last thought you have, any last thought?
Just keep it simple. I mean, over and over and over again, I think I say it in every training or info session. And I always say, I think I say this all the time, but it is like, just keep it simple. You don't have to know what to say. I didn't know what to say. I still don't know what to say. I don't even know half the details of a lot of the things that are going on, but I know that I can share excitement and keep it simple. And that's the most important thing. Because if people hear the excitement and they see how simple it is, that's all you got to do. And then you fill in the gaps as you go, but just keep it simple. If you follow a system, follow the system. Like you said, you can't half do one system and half do another. You got to go all in and figure out a way to make it work for you. And if it's not working, don't be afraid to change it. It's okay.
That's good. So good. Lauren, thank you so much for your time. This was so powerful. I know I'm going to go back and re-listen. You guys tag your people in this. This was live. If you're in our team community, tag. Everybody needs to.
And it'll probably go into other team communities too. So if you're part of Amy or I'm sure they're going to want, everybody's going to want to listen.
Get recording out for sure. But girl, thank you so much. Truly amazing. Huge congratulations. We know you're going to hit director this month.
And beyond.